new Moto X, will it be the Moto G of the high-end market? We already know that Motorola have come on leaps and bounds in the smartphone space over the last year or so. The Moto G was a massive hit. It's sold by the bucket loads here at Clove, and the second-gen Moto G has proven just as popular in recent months. That's the lower end of the market taken care of, so what about the high end? The original Moto X didn't go down all that well with consumers. It was by no means a bad device, in fact a very good one. However, it just didn't seem to sell particularly well. This time round, Motorola have devised a phone that packs some big specs behind an even bigger screen, which still gives you a clean and smooth Android experience. Motorola also offers a couple of extra built-in apps and features that actually serve a purpose. Not many phones out there can boast that. Before we get into the review, here's the main talking points. A 2.5 GHz quad-core processor, 2 GB of RAM, 16 GB of internal memory, 5.2-inch AMOLED capacitive touchscreen, 30 megapixel rear camera, Bluetooth 4.0, Wi-Fi, GPS, micro USB with USB host, 3G and 4G, and Miracast screen mirroring. Last time round, Motorola didn't go all out for the latest processors or camera technology. Instead, what they managed to do was produce a phone that was so close to pure Android as you could get without it having Nexus branded on the back. Without an Android skin, so to speak, the older Moto X didn't need all the extra power that HTC and Samsung were putting under the hoods of their devices. This year it's a different story. Motorola have decided to play the game in 2014, so the new Moto X comes out of the box with a cracking set of specs. If you run down the feature list, there's no denying this is a high-end phone. Just like last year, Motorola have included the bowed back. At its thickest, the Moto X is now 9.9mm, and that drops down to just 3.8mm by the time your finger makes it to the edge. On the front, the aluminium frame also adds to the sensation that this phone is a premium product. Weighing in at 144 grams also helps give it a solid feel. Holding other devices such as the Z3 leaves me a little concerned that I'm going to drop them. With glass front and back, that won't be good news. One of the great things for me on the new Moto X is a seemingly minor touch. The Motorola logo on the back, situated underneath the rear camera, is in a little dimple that my finger comes to rest in when on a call, adding that extra bit of security that you won't be dropping it. The screen is a window to a world of entertainment that Google Play offers. It also brings to life those pictures of the new addition to your family, birthday celebrations, and those colourful walks that only autumn can bring. At 5.2 inches, the 1080p Full HD AMOLED screen with a resolution of 1080 by 1920 gives you 424 ppi and gives you pictures that look crisp and sharp. Other media such as YouTube and Google Play Movies will offer a great viewing experience. With music services such as Google Music All Access, Spotify and others, it would have been good to have not just one front-facing speaker but two, something Sony and HTC have done very well. Sadly, the new Moto X won't be getting any parties started or keeping it going. The 3.5mm headphone jack centered on the top will be where you'll want your music coming from. Placed to the right of the earpiece is where the front-facing camera is found. This isn't designed for anything other than video calls, so at 2 megapixels you'll do just fine. Flip the phone over and the 13 megapixel camera is where you'll be capturing those special, funny and odd moments. With 1080p and 4K recording capabilities plus slow motion support, you've got a modern camera that also has a flash running around the outside of the lens, a ring of flash if you like. Nano SIM cards seem to be the way forward these days, and the Moto X is no different here. There is no micro SD support, which could well be a deal breaker for some. I'm a big user of cloud storage, so the approximate 10 gig available from the 16 gig base storage is plenty for me. However, for those who want sold on cloud services, this could be a big deal. The 32 gig configuration is currently only available from Motorola directly in the UK. The processor tends to be a focal point of smartphones at the moment. Has it got this processor? Why hasn't it got that? But for what you're going to be doing with the Moto X, the 2.5 GHz Snapdragon 801 processor more than does the job, and thanks to a near pure Android operating system, you won't really need anything more. Getting around the Moto X is as a smooth experience as any, and with nothing behind this curtain holding the performance up, I haven't yet had the dreaded force close box pop up or had to sit down and wait for it to catch up with me. The 2 gig of RAM helps with the multitasking side of things. Some devices do have more, but the Moto X doesn't need it. It's all very well having 3 gig of RAM, but on a device that has no bloatware, you simply won't ever need it. If you've ever used a Nexus device before, you're pretty much going to take to the Moto X like a duck to water. The only added extras to Android KitKat 4.4.4 is a handful of apps that actually bring some added benefit. Take a look at other devices and you'll have a ton of stuff you probably won't use and will struggle to get shot of. Under one app, we have 4 features: Assist, Actions, Voice and Display. Active Display, formerly Active Notifications, gives you a heads up of emails, Google Plus notifications and missed calls as your hand reaches out for the Moto X, thanks to the host of sensors Motorola tucked away. Instead of hitting the power button and reach out and that screen lights up, give one of the icons a touch and you'll get a preview. If you have got a pin lock set up, you will need to unlock it to read it. Connect a Moto 360 or other trusted Bluetooth device and your screen is always unlocked. You can also decide which apps you get notifications for. Moto Voice. The always listening feature of the Moto X is a huge selling point. You can even change the command word from OK Google to anything you like. I've gone with Hi Professor X, and from there I can search the weather forecast, call someone or work out how much that 20% off a nice new coat is actually going to cost. All this can be done whilst it sits next to you on a desk or when your hands are free. Your voice can also be used to unlock your phone. Check voicemails with the command Take a Selfie. The front camera will spring into action and count down from 3 before taking a picture. A command that I use quite a bit is What's Going On. This gives you a list of notifications. Moto Assist, keeping your phone quiet and the screen off at night, silent with an option to set up an auto reply at work, and when behind the wheel, your Moto X can read out text messages and play music via Google Music or TuneIn Radio. Professor X is so clever that he'll know when I'm driving. Actions will give you the option to activate wave to silence, twist for quick capture, plus the reach for your device to trigger Moto Display, and every single one of them will prove very useful. The 4 IR ports on the front of the Moto X will see to these very useful features. The camera of any smartphone is a talking point, and sadly Motorola haven't really given us anything to talk about. Okay, it has a 13 megapixel lens at the back. You can bring the camera to life with a flick of your wrist, take a shot from anywhere on the screen, and you get HDR mode, panoramic mode, and you can choose 16.9 aspect ratio for a total of 9.7 megapixel resolution, or you can do 4.3 at the full 30 megapixels. Best Shot will also help sift through pictures and give you the best one. These options, including the flash, are accessible by swiping right on the screen. There's also an option when editing a video to add some slow motion effect. This would have been better placed on the main camera app as opposed to the gallery app. My walk here in Bournemouth came across some beautiful autumn colours. You'll get some solid snaps, but when the light starts to fade away, you'll see lots of noise, and the flash, although bright, it will wash out colours. And I'm sure many people would have liked to have seen image stabilisation instead of a very large flash. As for the gallery app, it couldn't be any easier to get around, and they have also included the option to make video highlights. You might just have seen the same thing with HTC and their Zoe feature. You can also do this with Google Plus. Here's how it works, and I think you'll find it very useful. Snap a load of pictures and videos, tap on highlights from the left-hand side menu, tap the album you want to work with, choose which pics or videos you want to have in your highlights, decide how long it will be and what music will accompany it. Hit the save button and share your masterpiece with your friends. As with any smartphone though, they aren't going to replace your main camera, and for taking quirky pictures of the everyday, the Moto X passes the test. There is also an option when editing a video to add some slow motion effects. This would have been better placed in the main camera app as opposed to the gallery app for quick access. How long a battery lasts depends on the size of it and what you're going to be doing with it. Here we have a 2300 engine. Heavy use from YouTube, playing games or having it connected to numerous other devices will see the battery slip away and you needing to plug it into the national grid. I've been happy thus far with how my Moto X has performed. I have it connected to a Moto 360, check out Google Plus and make a few calls, in with browsing the web and playing the odd game. It won't be as good as what the Sony Z3 has to offer. It will though see you get through the day, but you will need to plug it in at night. Some have been a little critical that there is no wireless charging. Does it matter? Not really, to me at least. As with my Moto 360, it would be just that little easier, but then at night my phone is just left by the side of my bed. I've always carried a portable charger with me. Motorola have produced the turbocharger, which they say will boost your battery with 8 hours worth of juice in just 15 minutes. I've always had a wall charger with me anyway. Should you buy one? If you're looking for a phone that has a superb camera, the simple answer is no. If, however, you are looking for a phone that has a fantastic display, powerful and smooth performance, no skin but with useful extras, then yes, the Moto X 2014 is well worth looking at. Motorola have worked hard on improving the original Moto X, and as many have said before me, this is one of the better Android handsets on the market. With no skin comes a clean OS that will see updates quicker and fewer apps or extras that serve no purpose and take up space.